All right, guys, welcome back to the Northern Performance Cars YouTube channel. Once again, I think it's what everyone has to say is like and subscribe. Follow along for this beautiful journey that we're all on together. So anyways, in case you guys were ever wondering what a bone stock 4.8 will put down with no mods, I have to say there was a certain kind of ish mod. The truck did have gutted cats and no mufflers. So it was unbearably loud and crackly, and I'm certain it helped probably somewhere in the higher RPM. There wasn't any spark knock, being on 87 with the factory timing and stuff, so I'm assuming that there was some help there with there no being cats gone and this and that, so somebody made some money on those or something. So anyways, in bone stock form, it did put down 230 rear wheel horsepower. So that year truck was 280 or 285 flywheel, which puts you right at 18 to 21% of drivetrain loss. So that is a very common place to be as far as drivetrain loss in an automatic vehicle with an axle. So a couple guys were like, it's a little high. A lot of people were like, mine made 280. It's like, well, how does your vehicle make 280 to the wheels when that's what it makes to the flywheel? Anyways, we did the BTR truck Norris cam to it and a set of long tube headers, and we put a 3-inch single exhaust. It had dual 2 1/4 ish. We put a single 3 with a full chambered muffler on it, and it picked up to 283 rear wheel horsepower, just with those, basically those two mods and tuning it correctly, if you want to call it. A lot of people argued, it made more with the tune before, and yes and no. So the very first pull I made with the truck, with the zigzag lines of the dyno graph and the lower curve, that was with the factory torque management implemented in it. The truck was actually, it was making 28.5 degrees of timing in factory form with the factory intake, air temp sensor modifiers and all that stuff going on. And I was kind of like, wow, okay. So I threw a wide band in the truck and it was literally 12.4 to 12.7 throughout the pull. So the exhaust in the catless deal being a factor, did it make more power that way than stock? Maybe or not, I don't know. I would assume that it probably helped somewhere because it actually had a fairly decent end result, depending on how you want to call it, as that tune goes, being in factory form. But anyways, so we compared it before, and you could see 15 to 30 foot-pounds of torque of a gain by disabling torque management, and that was the biggest gain. I played with AFR a little bit. I played with timing plus and minus a couple, and it really didn't do a whole lot. It was 231, 232 in stock form up top. But it did make 252 foot-pounds of torque and a very nice smooth graph. So the big benefit there was just disabling torque management. Maybe in the future, if we get a 4.8 in here with the factory cats and muffler, I'd love to run one again. Unfortunately, we don't have one here right now. So anyways, this video was a follow-up to the last one. I had a lot of people actually ask for another one. So we figured that we would do that and kind of show play-by-play what happened. And so what I ended up doing is, a lot of people were like, you should have done this and should have done this. So I came back to the shop on Sunday. I took the mechanical fan off and made a pull without the fan, and it picked up 4 rear wheel horsepower. So then I made a pull with a 4-inch intake tube and a Spectre intake on it, and it picked up even more power. So I got the graphs here just to go back and forth on. And so it went, 283 to 288 to 290 with the intake and filter and no mechanical fan. So then I'm like, let's see if we can scratch that 300 surface. So I made 10 or 12 pulls back to back, and with the velocity stack, a 4-inch intake tube, the factory intake manifold, the plugs that were in it that were in decent shape, like a factory Denso plug kind of, with 87 octane, it made 293.4 rear wheel horsepower and 294.8 rear wheel torque. That was the best that I could squeeze out of it, with an intake, no mechanical fans, assuming that you had electric fans, and the cam and intake and the full exhaust. So end of the day, I feel like that's really good. I mean, a 4.8 in that generation is 280 flywheel horsepower, and now it's making 283, 284 to the rear wheels with the factory airbox, and 293 with a 4-inch intake tube. So I mean, take it how you want. That's actually pretty respectable for, realistically, if you did the work yourself, that's $1,500 in mods, and it's pretty respectable for the amount of power that you gain. And just the drivability, the truck has more power everywhere. It's punchier, snappier. It'll spin right around and do donuts now. And it's so much more fun to drive. But anyways, I just want to do a quick comparable video with that, and I'll post both of the graphs. Dick's at work this week, so he's not able to help me make a really nice video, so I'm gonna hurry up and throw something quick together, just so you guys have that data. But anyways, stay tuned. There, so just took the mechanical fan shroud off. We're gonna put an intake on it really quick. All right, so fair comparison. We pulled the fan off, pulled the shroud off so the intake would fit. I got an intake that I used to have on my red truck, so pulled the mechanical fan off. We're gonna make another pass with the mechanical fan off from it with the stock air box on it, just to do back to back. So I just made the first pass nice and cool. Made 284, 292.9, didn't touch anything. Just came in from overnight and made a rip, so trans was cool, all that good stuff. We'll try again now, okay, bye. And the shroud, no other changes. 288.5, 296 torque. So it picked up 4 wheel horsepower and 3 foot-pounds of torque to the tires all the way across the power band just by removing that mechanical fan. That mechanical fan is rather small. I don't think it's nearly as heavy as the 6 liters and stuff. But there's where we sit on that. Four wheel horse, didn't touch nothing else. Anyways, I am going to put a regular cold air intake on it now.